The plane touched down in Buenos Aires, and as the wheels hit the tarmac, a surge of excitement ran through me. I pressed my face to the window, catching my first real glimpse of the sprawling city below, a patchwork of neighborhoods, parks, and endless streets all shimmering in the morning light. The anticipation I'd felt for weeks was now a tangible buzz in my chest. Stepping off the plane, I was immediately swept up by the city's energy. The air was thick with the sounds of honking taxis, rolling suitcases, and the chatter of travelers from every corner of the globe. Buenos Aires felt alive, as if the city itself was welcoming me with open arms. Argentina, a name that conjures wild landscapes and untamed spirit. From the windswept plains of Patagonia to the thunderous cascades of Iguazu Falls, this country promised adventure at every turn. I could almost feel the pull of those distant places, even as I stood in the heart of its capital. With my backpack slung over my shoulder, I stepped into the chaos of the city, senses on high alert. The aroma of fresh coffee and grilled meats drifted from nearby cafes, mixing with the distant notes of tango music. Every sight, sound, and smell was new, and I felt both exhilarated and a little overwhelmed. Buenos Aires pulsed with life, cars weaving through traffic, people hurrying along the sidewalks, and street musicians filling the air with melodies. The city moved to its own rhythm, a blend of old-world charm and restless modernity. I was eager to lose myself in its flow, to become part of its story, even if just for a while. I found a simple hostel for the night, tucked away on a quiet street. It wasn't fancy, but it was exactly what I needed, a place to rest, regroup, and plan my next move. The hostel buzzed with fellow travelers, each with their own dreams and destinations, and I felt a sense of camaraderie among strangers. The city was just the beginning. Patagonia and Iguazu Falls already called to me. I pored over maps and guidebooks, tracing routes with my finger, imagining the wild places that lay ahead. The possibilities seemed endless, and I was determined to make the most of every moment. But I knew every journey starts with small, deliberate steps. Tying my boots, I reminded myself to savor the present, to let the city reveal itself one street, one encounter at a time. Adventure, after all, is as much about the journey as the destination. That night I stood on the hostel rooftop, humbled by the city's vastness and my own anticipation. The skyline glittered under a blanket of stars, and I felt both small and infinite, a single traveler in a city of millions, yet ready to carve out my own story. This trip wasn't about comfort, it was about stripping life to its essentials. My pack held only what I truly needed, a change of clothes, a journal, a camera, and a heart open to whatever lay ahead. I was ready to trade certainty for discovery, a pack, a trail, and a sense of purpose. These were my companions now, guiding me forward into the unknown, and a fire in your heart, that spark of curiosity and courage that pushes you to keep moving, even when the path ahead is uncertain. The wild was calling, and I was ready to answer. The adventure had begun, and with every step, I felt more alive, more connected to the world around me. Buenos Aires was my first step into the unknown, a city of dreams, a gateway to adventure, and the place where my journey truly began. My first day in Buenos Aires was about more than just sightseeing. It was about immersing myself in the very heart of Argentina, discovering what makes this country pulse with life. I wanted to understand its people, its culture, and the stories that echo through its vibrant streets. I wandered through the historic cobblestone streets of San Telmo, a neighborhood where every corner seemed to whisper tales of the past. The air was thick with the scent of fresh coffee and the distant strum of a guitar, and I let my curiosity guide me, eager to see what I might find around each bend. The tango was everywhere, spilling out from plazas, echoing from street corners, and performed by dancers who moved with a fierce, magnetic grace. Their passion was contagious, drawing crowds who watched in awe as each step told a story of longing and resilience. Watching them up close, I realized tango is more than a dance. It's a language of connection and trust. A silent conversation between two people. In many ways, it reminded me of the skills needed to survive in the wild. Reading your partner, adapting to the moment, and moving forward together. My Spanish was far from perfect, but I found that a genuine smile and a willingness to try bridged any gap. Each attempt at conversation, no matter how clumsy, was met with patience and encouragement. The locals welcomed me with open arms, meeting my vulnerability with warmth and humor. Their kindness made me feel less like a stranger and more like a guest in their home. I quickly learned that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's the beginning of real connection. Each time I reached out, someone was there to guide me, share a story, or simply offer a friendly nod. As the sun set over the city, painting the skyline in gold and pink, I felt the resilience and passion that define Buenos Aires. The city seemed to come alive even more at dusk, its energy undiminished. That evening, over plates piled high with grilled meat and fresh bread in a bustling parrilla, I reflected on the day's encounters, the laughter, the music, the shared meals. All of it felt like an invitation to belong. Buenos Aires had taught me about tenacity, about the power of human connection, and about the beauty of embracing vulnerability. In this city, every interaction felt meaningful, every moment a lesson in resilience. As I packed my backpack in the hostel that night, looking out at the city lights, I realized these lessons were the perfect preparation for what lay ahead, facing nature's raw power and unpredictability. The spirit of Buenos Aires, the warmth, the resilience, the unbreakable sense of community, would stay with me as I left the city behind and ventured into the wild. With a heart full of new experiences and a mind sharpened by the city's lessons, I was ready for the next challenge. The wild awaited, and I felt prepared to meet it head-on. Early the next morning, I flew south, leaving city energy for Patagonia's raw power. The landscape transformed barren plains, turquoise lakes, snow-capped peaks. Stepping off the plane, the crisp air jolted me awake. A bus ride to Perito Moreno Glacier revealed wild guanacos and endless vistas. Patagonia demands adaptation. You become part of the landscape, not its master. The glacier itself was staggering, a living river of ice, groaning and calving with thunderous cracks. Watching it, I felt both small and connected to something ancient. Back in El Chaltén, I was overwhelmed in the best way. The glacier's power put my own worries in perspective. Out here, you realize your place in the world and your connection to it. Patagonia had whispered its secrets. I was ready for the next test, the trails. The wild was just getting started. Day 3's goal was clear: trek to Laguna de los Tres, nestled beneath the towering granite spires of Mount Fitzroy. This was the day I'd been anticipating since the journey began, a test of endurance, spirit, and awe. I set out before dawn, the world still cloaked in darkness. My breath clouded in the icy air, boots crunching rhythmically on the frosty trail. Each step felt like a promise to myself, a commitment to see this adventure through. The forest was silent, save for the soft rustle of wind through ancient trees. The climb was steady, my mind quieting with every stride, a meditation in motion, where worries faded and only the present moment mattered. As the first light crept over the horizon, sunrise painted the peaks in brilliant pinks and oranges. It felt like a private reward for those willing to rise early and embrace the cold, a fleeting masterpiece just for us. The final kilometer was brutal, steep, rocky, and utterly relentless. The path seemed to rise endlessly, each switchback revealing another challenge. My heart pounded, lungs burned, but I pressed on. My legs burned with fatigue, but I focused on one step at a time, breaking the climb into small victories. Each breath was a reminder of how far I'd come and how close I was to the top. Survival, I realized, is about breaking challenges into small, manageable pieces. Rest, refocus, and keep moving forward, one step, one breath, one moment at a time. Cresting the final ridge, the world opened up before me. The turquoise waters of Laguna de los Tres shimmered below, framed by Fitzroy's jagged spires. The view was nothing short of breathtaking, a reward that made every struggle worthwhile. In that instant, exhaustion vanished, replaced by a surge of awe and accomplishment. The pain faded, and all that remained was pure, unfiltered joy. Alone with the mountain, I felt both humbled and empowered. The vastness of Patagonia made me feel small, yet the journey had revealed a strength I never knew I had. I'd pushed my limits, tested my resolve, and been rewarded with one of Earth's greatest views. The sense of achievement was overwhelming. The lesson was clear. Persistence pays off, not just in the wild, but in every aspect of life. Every challenge, no matter how daunting, can be overcome with patience and determination. I had faced the challenge and won. The mountain had tested me, and I had risen to meet it. The trail had changed me, leaving its mark not just on my body, but on my spirit. I knew I would carry this experience with me long after I left Patagonia behind. Patagonia's wild heart now beat in my chest, a reminder that the greatest journeys are the ones that transform us from within. From Patagonia's ice, I flew north to the steamy jungles of Iguazu. The air was thick, the jungle alive with sound. My first view of Iguazu Falls from Brazil was staggering. Hundreds of waterfalls thundering into the gorge. Mist rose, rainbows danced, and the roar was deafening. Walking the trails, I was drenched by spray and awed by nature's force. Toucans and cotis darted through the foliage, a vibrant, living ecosystem. Water is life's source, both creator and destroyer. As the sun set, I felt pure wonder. Patagonia was silent grandeur, Iguazu was explosive energy. Nature has many voices, some whisper, some roar. The key is to listen to them all. Iguazu's power was unforgettable. Day 5, the Argentinian side of Iguazu, and the legendary Devil's Throat. A walkway led me over calm water, then suddenly, chaos. The river plunged into a roaring abyss, spray billowing high. Standing on the edge, I was soaked, exhilarated and humbled. The force was overwhelming, a sensory overload that erased all worries. In that moment there was only the present, only the roar. Leaving the platform, adrenaline mixed with serenity. I'd witnessed nature's fury and felt only respect. The falls reminded me, we don't control nature, it controls us. The lesson was humility. Iguazu was a fitting climax to my wild journey. Argentina's heart beat loud and clear. After Patagonia and Iguazu, I slowed down to connect with Argentina's culture. Back in Buenos Aires, I explored a bustling market, sampling empanadas and soaking in the smells and sounds. A simple exchange with a vendor reminded me that kindness transcends language. That evening I joined locals for an asado, a true Argentinian barbecue. The steak was perfection, simple, honest and full of flavor. A family at the next table struck up a conversation, sharing stories and laughter. They offered travel tips and insisted I try Malbec wine. This spontaneous connection was the highlight of my day. The best discoveries are often the people you meet. Their warmth made me feel less like a tourist, more like a guest. Food and friendship are the soul of Argentina. The city felt like home, if only for a night. My journey was richer for these moments. My final day was for reflection as I flew above Buenos Aires. In just 7 days, I'd crossed glaciers, jungles, and city streets. The biggest challenge was constant adaptation, embracing the unknown. Travel strips away the non-essentials, revealing your true self. Nature isn't just seen, it's felt. Wind, spray, silence. These moments change you, filling you with awe and gratitude. The power of saying yes to adventure, to people, opened every door. The world is full of wonders, but you have to step out to find them. This trip was about discovering a more resilient, open version of myself. That's the real reward of travel. Argentina had changed me. Back home, Argentina feels both dreamlike and deeply real. The roar of the falls, the silence of glaciers, the warmth of strangers, they stay with you. A journey like this is an investment in yourself. You don't need to be an expert, just willing to take the first step. Strength is built by facing challenges, not avoiding them. Argentina will test you, but it will also reward you with beauty and kindness. You'll return with stories, confidence, and a new sense of your place in the world. So, answer the call. Pack your bag, book the ticket, take that first step. Discover the fire of the tango, the wisdom of the glaciers, the thunder of the falls. Find the strength waiting for you in the wild heart of Argentina. Your adventure is out there. Don't let it wait too long. The journey will change your life.